A rental market filled to the brim. That's the verdict of a new report by the Association of Residential Letting Agents, who say that 74% of their members now believe that demand in the rental sector is outstripping supply.
The problem is more people are looking to rent. They're uncertain about the market, where it's going, they're uncertain about interest rates, they're uncertain about job security. And if you look back at the statistics, I think we've got best part of 26 million households out there at the moment. 4.5 million are in the private rented sector. And by 2021, that's going to go up to in excess of 30 million. And the early predictions are that we will be knocking on the door of nearly 7 million people wanting to come into the private rental sector.
But this boom in rental demand is not wholly down to tenants wanting more flexibility, as there is also a major problem with first-time buyers being blocked off the housing ladder.
It's much harder to get mortgage finance, there's less social housing, and all that's adding up to a sort of a boom in the private rental sector, which we believe will carry on. And normally what you see at this point in time is someone who's renting will say it's cheaper to buy, I'm going to come out and buy or become a first-time buyer. We're not seeing that now because they haven't got the mortgages available at sort of high loan-to-values and ones where you can actually achieve a mortgage with just a 5 or even a smaller deposit. So that means people are going to stay in rented longer.
And this increasing length of tenancies is also being added to by the competitive nature of the rental market. But the amount of time spent in one property isn't the only behavioural change we're currently seeing amongst tenants. Worryingly, new research from the charity Shelter shows that 38% of families with children who are renting privately have cut down on buying food to meet rising housing costs. The report also shows that average private rents are now unaffordable for ordinary working families in 55% of local authorities in England. And for Antonia, Bance, head of campaigns for the charity Shelter, these new figures require urgent action.
We think the government needs to think seriously about how they introduce longer tenancies and more stability into rental costs to make sure that they just don't unconstrained rise out of control.
People will say this is just the market though, demand's going up, supply's not going up as fast, that's why rents go up.
I think, to be honest, where we're talking about most optional consumer goods, that argument does hold. But a home is a home. Everybody needs a home. And if we're in a situation where increasingly the basic need of having somewhere safe, secure, stable, decent conditions, affordable to live can't be met by our market, then we've got a problem with our market.
People are going to need help. And this is one of those vicious markets where you have an imbalance of supply and demand. At the moment, we've got more demand than supply. My advice would be if you're a new tenant coming to the market, or if you're an existing tenant that's about to be priced out of the market, go and see a regulated island agent. There's 6,000 of them across the country. Sit down with them. And it might well be that you've got to move from city centre, from where you are now, out to the fringes. So you might have to relocate to a degree. But with a bit of luck, it won't be more than 10 miles away you're at the moment. But there'll have to be a compromise.
And compromise is really also the word of the day when it comes to freeing up mortgage finance, a key problem that props up the crises in both the residential and rental sectors. Yes, we don't want to return to the credit-happy days of the boom years, but if banks don't start lending soon, we could find ourselves stuck with a high-price, high-demand rental sector for a good time yet.